So I would celebrate making it past Donner's Pass with no one eating me.
Yeah, well, it's good not to be food.
I know. That's the point.
But it certainly wasn't. I mean, it was a step in the right direction. It was a step past the idea that one man could own everybody in the world, which is more or less King George's position. And the colonists basically proved, no, if they're armed, you can't control the whole world.
Right.
So that was a step. There was another step when slavery was eliminated here. That's
not today. Rich, what are we celebrating today? That's my point. What we are celebrating, to me, which is a very beautiful and eloquent piece of written work, primarily offered by Thomas Jefferson, that said, we're not going to take it. And I agree with you on that we will stand up, we will raise arms against those who wish to oppress us. And that is the rightful thing that people should do. You should be raising up arms. My question is why are we celebrating what we've allowed to occur? And I don't mean Rich, Ian, and I. We certainly didn't allow this to occur, but I'm talking about generations and generations.
Well, don't worry. No one's celebrating that. I mean, everybody today just celebrates the 4th of July. They don't even talk about Independence Day. I mean, this has been sort of the refrain on Free Talk Live over all the years on this particular episode, is that people have forgotten this holiday and what it even is. Like, it's just Happy 4th is what people will say to you. Nobody says, almost no one, maybe with the exception of the people in this room,
will say Independence.
And some of our listeners will actually say Happy Independence Day. How many times have you heard it in the last 24, 48 hours?
I know some more patriotic types, and they have said
they
that.
did? Okay.
Yeah. But there are also ones that are eager and willing to go boogaloo on this whole situation.
So far, just sort of out and about,
boogaloo?
no one.
I've seen this on the internet the last couple days.
Yeah, boogaloo, it seems to be trending, at least in things like in Urban Dictionary and things like that. Boogaloo is the idea that when it's time to boogaloo, it's time to raise up and arm up against your oppressive government.
Okay, so this isn't the character from the Rescue Rangers.
You first, as they say.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Now, in 1776, these guys signed up and they said, yeah, we'll do it. We'll go back to our states and we'll try to raise armies. Because, face it, that king, he's telling us all kinds of crazy things. He's telling us, get this. And they did this. They did this right down here in Boston. We're broadcasting from New Hampshire. It's not that far away. They had the audacity to tax imports. Tea. This was a very popular drink at the time. They were going to tax imports. Your tea was going to be taxed. Now, before you sit here and tell me, well, of course, I mean, you can't just tax imports. What the hell do you think a tariff is?
Same thing, yeah.
It's the same. Trump has decided to tax your washing machines. Trump has decided to tax your cars through tariffs on steel and
they already
aluminum.
had tariffs on a lot of that stuff.
Of course they do, but he's gonna go way beyond that. He's gonna jack it up on all sorts of things. Don't believe for a second that this gets paid by the Chinese government. Doesn't write a check to the United States. I've never got one. This is simply raising the cost of goods. And if your government does that to you, arbitrarily raises the cost of goods to you, that's what I call a tax.
Well, the nice thing about the tariffs, I mean, Trump has done some amazing things. He's gotten a refund from a prostitute. He's gotten sanctuary cities to complain about illegal aliens by threatening to bus them there. Right. What's going to happen with the trade war gambit? I don't know. I think I know what he is attempting to do, and if
What's he attempting to do?
I think what he's attempting to do is, see, the Chinese have had tariffs on us all along. So it's always been a lopsided arrangement. Trump wanted those tariffs.
Quit trading with the Chinese. Simple. Nobody wants to do it because, God forbid, they'd have to give up their free stuff.
That's
but, hey,
not really a decision that they can make. But the point is that Trump brought these tariffs in an effort to convince the Chinese to drop theirs. And he has said that he would drop tariffs against any country that dropped tariffs against us.
So we have a king.
Huh?
We have a king.
Well, we have a president who Congress passed a bill allowing him to do that, and now he does that.
We're just basically saying...
I'm not a fan, but it is what it is.
People on the left and the right, they all say, well, if Trump does this, if Trump does that, what's the difference between that and saying, well, if King George says this and King George says that,
see, they had an election. They had an election. Don't you see how different that is? It's an election. You are allowed to check a box.
You can. And I am telling you that when has checking that box ever changed the direction of things for you? When has it ever really mattered? That's the problem. Representative government at the scale of 535 people to 320 million, it's not representative.
This is not an entirely unexpected condition. I mean, Jefferson said we needed to have a revolution every generation. And the problem is the problem is we have not been continuing to advance liberty, and that's what needs to be done. But in order for that to happen, the people have to want it.
We gave up on the idea of advancing liberty meaningfully at the national level around 1800.
Do you have a mouse in your pocket? Because I didn't give up on that.
I know you didn't. I know Ian didn't. And I know I haven't, but I have given up on this system. 855, 450 free.
That sounds like progress.
You tell me why I'm wrong. You tell me why I should be celebrating a day that we have failed. 855, 450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops. Get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
There are basically 2 types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855 453. That's free as in freedom. What better thing could I say on this very special Independence Day edition of Free Talk Live? But I am going to tell you first about local.bitcoin.com. Bitcoin.com has launched a traditional platform for localbitcoin.com, allowing you to buy and sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash.
We did one.
We did one yesterday. This was like my first ever real trade.
I didn't know you were on there. I was looking around for I think it was like cash in persons or whatever. And I found Route 101.
See, there you go. You could have signed up, and I'll continue that offer. If people want to pay cash for Bitcoin Cash, that's fiat money, that is U.S. dollars. I'll accept them
You
in
took
my
my
shop.
You took my dirty cash and gave me crypto.
I did, and I'll do that for you too. There are no ID requirements to sign up and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. That's local.bitcoin.com. Yeah, it was pretty slick. I got to say that any problems that occurred during the trade from my end were all due to me.
Just it being your first time?
Yeah,
you mean?
first time ever using it, and really first time ever using an online service like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was never into local Bitcoins or stuff like that, but it was really, really simple. And once I got the hang of it, then everything went through perfectly.
They just need more volume. There needs to be more, advertisements on the site that are real. Because what happened was in their first month, they kind of put the site up to where you could see it, but you couldn't list your ad, even though you could create the ad. And so as a result of that, which didn't seem like a bad idea at the time, but I think it probably was, because it ended up that the site launched with a bunch of sort of, I don't know, dead ads, if you will. These people who put their ads on the site the previous month and then just didn't come back. So that's one of the things they've been wrestling with, is clearing out some of the old junk ads to make sure that the people that are actually going to service you will be seen.
Making things free is frequently a bad idea. Imagine how little spam there would be if it cost a penny to send an email.
Yeah.
Well, interestingly enough, I mean, a lot of the core technologies in crypto, going back to proof of work and things like that, had to do with stopping people's ability to send spam emails, make it financially not worth it. But that was some of the origins of Dr. Adam Back and proof of work and distributed or decentralized proof of work, which was created by, who's the other gentleman I'm thinking
I
of?
don't know, but you
That's
got
all
me
right.
thinking about Satoshi Nakamoto, and I feel like we should get back to the king and all that stuff. But if we want to later on, there's
I'd be
some
happy.
interesting news in the case with this Craig Wright guy, the guy claiming to be Satoshi Nakamoto. There's some very interesting news about that.
Well, then I am going to go back. I'm going to go back to what you are supposed to be celebrating today.
You mean Independence Day, not the 4th of July?
I'm talking about Independence Day, and in particular, this document that is dated July 4th, 1776, but as Rich accurately pointed out, this was actually passed by Congress on July 2nd. But the printed version that got put into the record had July 4th at the top, so that's what we think of.
And that was the date it was first publicly read.
Yeah, that may be true also. I do remember seeing some quotes by some of the founding fathers saying, by God, July 2nd will be a date that we remember for generations to come.
Yeah.
July 2nd.
It's ironic they didn't. Although I have to say that, if I was going to sign up for to go to war with the U.S. government, I'd probably take a day to put my affairs in order before I announced it.
There you go. So what did it say? It said this. In Congress, now there was a Continental Congress of the United States, July 4th, 1776, the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America, when, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separation and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind required that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation.
I like the nature's and nature's God line. It does point out that he was a deist, not a Christian.
And it also points out what they are talking about are natural laws. These are laws that are inherent to the human condition. These are not laws of man. You can call them, if you happen to believe in a deity, that's fine. Call it God's will. Call it what God has given you. Or if you're not, it's part of the human condition. But that was the point, that we're not talking about, they were not talking about specific things that King George had made law. They're talking about things above that.
Yeah, which becomes important when you talk about whether constitutional protections apply to non-citizens.
Exactly.
Well, of course they do, because all of these rights preceded the existence of the Constitution, and the Constitution can't change them, and moreover, it undertakes to guarantee not to violate them.
Absolutely. I'm going to continue here. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. That's all men. That all are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men.
That's where they went wrong.
Yeah, bad plan.
That's where they screwed it up.
But listen to what he says.
It
He
is to
doesn't
secure
say,
these rights that shotguns should be instituted amongst men.
He also doesn't say that governments are instituted over men. If you want to create a government, if you feel that that's the right thing to do, and I disagree with it, that's okay. Governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed.
Man, I keep trying to tell them I don't consent, and they just don't care.
Yeah.
And the state constitutions also mention this stuff. At least the ones that I've looked at. The one certainly here in New Hampshire talks about consent of the governed. It's like something about good government is by consent. So clearly we don't have good government because they're definitely not by consent, and they certainly haven't been in my lifetime, and probably a couple generations prior to that at the very least, if not thousands of years.
that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it.
All right. Poof.
And to
Be gone, I say.
And to institute new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizations, its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. And that also includes if a group of people decide that they don't want any government, that is absolutely expected of them. Happiness, prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light or transient causes, and accordingly all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable.
Yeah, Chris, this all sounds good, but isn't there like a baseball game coming up? I mean, I don't want to miss the football game. Jay-Z's coming out with a new album, and
Ian, shut the hell up. This is my show tonight. I'll have no more of your
bread and circuses.
The Game of
no
Thrones.
More of your on-target commentary. But I want somebody, even if they're accidentally hearing it, I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to keep reading this damn Declaration of Independence, and you can tell me why we should be celebrating. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Finally, there's a way for you to get into the blockchain, the hottest financial sector without all the speculation. Now, enjoy a 27% annualized payment each month without the ups and downs of Bitcoin. Seen on programs broadcast on Fox Business News, blockchain data centers offer an equipment leasing program in the explosive digital asset marketplace. Inspired by entrepreneurs who sold picks and shovels during the gold rush, the money is in the mining equipment used to manufacture dozens of critical digital assets. Not a security IPO or note, blockchain data centers have a proven turnkey equipment sale leaseback program with a 27% annualized lease payment deposited into your bank account each month. Don't miss this one. Stake your claim today. Call 800-600-3388. That's 800-600-3388. These valuable lease contracts won't last long. Call now. 800-600-3388. 800-600-3388. Equipment offered poses a financial risk to owners. Consult with financial professionals before purchasing. Not an offer to buy or sell a security which requires an offering document.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin, but imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
Live video of our key New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, a very special Independence Day edition with myself, Chris.
I'm Ian.
And nobody formerly known as Rich Paul.
And there is something I do want to tell you about, and that is My Magic Mud, this amazing tooth powder that's got everybody in this studio talking nonstop. It is a black tooth powder made of charcoalized coconut shells and bentonite clay. What does that do? It is clinically proven to whiten your teeth. Most health food stores, Sprouts, CVS, Natural Grocers, and Walmart, you can find it in the natural beauty aisle, all carry this product. I know that Mark raves about it. Ian, have you tried it?
Yep, I've got it up in the bathroom here. I actually use their toothpaste. I prefer that just because the powder's a little messy, but the toothpaste is messy too. So
I will say that a black powder can be messy, and it helps if you read the instructions before you just throw it in your mouth.
I'm also not a coffee drinker, so like Mark is, I think he says he drinks a pot of coffee every single day, and he said it made a huge difference for him.
I have one of those before I get out of bed, but if he claims that that's a heavy coffee drinker, I'll believe him. So I have not been religious with My Magic Mud on this second try. The first time it was noticeable. I tried this stuff after the Porcupine Freedom Festival years ago. I think it was the year that they first showed up there. And my son and I both bought it. I had 2 jars of it, my son's and mine. He left to go back to his job, and I couldn't find mine, so I was very happy to get a hold of some. But you can get a hold of some for 20% off by using coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. That's mymagicmud.com, and show off those pearly whites. What the heck? We've been talking about the Declaration of Independence, which some people claim was a brilliant, I think it's a brilliant oratory work. I think it is. It nailed all the points. I also believe that this grand experiment in representative government, unlike anything that the world had ever seen, has been an abject failure in this country. And if you don't believe me, those of you on the right, tell me about how you feel about your gun rights being eroded every day.
Well, what I will tell you is that, remember, this was a document that was a catalyst in our breaking away from the British Empire. Now, if you take a look
at a different empire,
if you take a look at Canada, now come on, let me speak.
Oh, I am. I just had to get that out.
We were breaking away from the British Empire. Now, to say that makes no difference means that we should have the same level of freedom as England and Australia and Canada. But I'll tell you what, we've got a lot more freedom than England or Australia or Canada or Wales or Scotland or Ireland. Northern Ireland's actually doing pretty well economically.
So you're saying it's the shiniest turd in the punch bowl?
Yeah, I'm saying it's in a lot of ways we are freer than we were 200 years ago. In a lot of ways, we're less free. And people have taken economic freedom less seriously because we have had such amazing prosperity. But, that's something that's going to swing around. And these things do swing on pendulums.
Those of you on the left, are you disappointed that your government doesn't seem to think your ideas of economics, are things are feasible? You want to do things like provide universal health care. You want to provide the ability to put everybody through college for no charge. You want to pay off anybody's debt. Yeah. Would you not? Are you ever going to see that? Is that ever going to happen?
I'd say do it at the state level.
Thank you,
How
Rich.
about federalism? How about if California funds whatever the hell they want to fund, but they leave the rest of us alone about it?
Now, when we
Vermont
go back,
does the same, and all the other states do the same. And that's also how we can accommodate libertarian socialists in the National Libertarian Party, just by taking a federalist view of it.
I'll talk about some people that are oppressed. The Green Party.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to get a foothold anywhere. There's nowhere in the United States, arguably California, but you're not going to see your agenda passed at a national level. Now, that's the point, Rich. What we have done is we sacrificed everything about what this document says and allowed big government to become what we do.
Well, why'd you do that?
Well, Ian, I was not having a good day that day. I didn't do that. But I'm saying generation upon generation have allowed this to occur. Now, why am I railing against this? Every generation should have stood up against this stuff. They should not have allowed Washington to usurp every power that in the Constitution was granted to those very people or was granted to the states.
Well, I think that they went wrong. Whenever this was, it was probably pretty early on, but whenever a government, whether state or federal governments, came up with some regulation for business people to follow or for homeowners or whoever it is, whatever the first regulation was that people were like, yeah, okay. And then they just went ahead and jumped through the hoops, and then another regulation came, and they jumped through the hoops. They could have stopped right there in the beginning and said, no, we're not going to do that. You don't own us. But they must have had some kind of respect for the system, which we see pretty common today, where people, even though they disagree with the direction the system is gone or has gone, they still believe in it. They still believe that they can take it back. Like the Democrats after Trump's election, when I went down to the Central Square, they had like an anti-Trump protest thing going on, and I was trying to pitch secession to these guys. Like, all right, well, maybe these lefties will be more open to secession now that Trump is in.
Right.
And there were a couple that were, but there were also a few that were like, no, we must take back Washington. Just the same way that so they still believe in it. They still believe it has the potential to be some sort of a beautiful thing, even though it is long and far away from whatever it was intended to be.
Yeah. I'm gonna put a date on this thing. I'm gonna say that the American experiment died in 1803 with Marbury v. Madison.
Can you recap what that was?
Yeah, just at a very high level, Marbury was I believe he was up for a promotion within the federal government, and Madison, the president at the time, refused to give him his promotion. And there was a squabble because it looked like the law said this, but the president said this, and they sat there and they looked at each other and they said, well, who's going to decide this decision? I know. Look here, I got my handy pocket Constitution, and it says right here that there is a Supreme Court, and we should take this to the Supreme Court. And you know what the Supreme Court said? They came up with this concept that is still bantied around today, and we all accept it as gospel, and that is the idea of judicial review. That when there is a question about constitutionality, well, then we should just kick that over to the Supreme Court.
I don't think that came out of Marbury versus Madison, because as I recall, Marbury versus Madison was about judicial appointments that had been passed by a previous administration or a previous Congress. and Madison was refusing to deliver these judicial appointments, which are the papers that they would need in order to start riding around their circuits and doing their thing.
I hate to go to Wikipedia, but it's oftentimes the first thing. Marbury v. Madison was a U.S. Supreme Court case that established the principle of judicial review in the United States. So it is this idea that whenever there is a squabble or a question of whether something is constitutional, well, let's just take it to the federal government's very own court, which gets to decide those things. And what we did, and I keep saying we, you know what I mean. I don't mean me. Those people said that whenever there is ever any question about the constitutionality of an action or a law, we'll just take it back to the federal government, who, as it turns out, 9 times out of 10, finds in favor of the federal government because they are part of the federal government. They get their paychecks from anybody, the federal government, and they can be the plaintiff, the defense. It doesn't matter. They can rig it. And I know not everyone agrees with me on this. A lot of people say that was a most important case because it spelled out American jurisprudence. I disagree. I think that's when the American experiment began to fall apart. But we're going to talk about that. Rich has some questions that he wants to get off his chest. And I want to defend my position. 855-450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,418, silver at $15.30, and Bitcoin is trading at $11,209. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, U.S. President Donald Trump's decision to display tanks on the National Mall during the Independence Day festivities is causing a meltdown among its critics, who claim it's an authoritarian move worthy of North Korea or Russia. The Free Thought Project reports that as part of the Salute to America celebrations on the 4th of July, the U.S. Navy Blue Angels acrobatic group will fly over the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., and there will be tanks stationed outside on the grounds. The event will culminate with the customary fireworks display. All of that is intended to show off what Trump calls, quote, the strongest and most advanced military anywhere in the world, end quote. A rail car with 2 M1A1 Abrams tanks, 2 Bradley infantry fighting vehicles, and what looked to be an M88A2 recovery vehicle are all part of the 64th Armored Regiment from Fort Stewart, Georgia, and have been spotted outside the Capitol on Tuesday. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A senior U.S. senator is demanding an investigation over reports that American-made weapons were found at a base of forces loyal to Khalifa Haftar, the East Libyan-based military commander. The anti-media reports the UN-recognized government of National Accord said its forces found the weapons at a base they captured from Haftar's militia in the strategic town of Quran, located south of the capital of Tripoli, last week. It said the seized weapons included 4 Javelin anti-tank missiles packed in wooden crates marked Armed Forces of the United Arab Emirates. In a letter to Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, Senator Robert Menendez of New Jersey, the top Democrat on the Foreign Relations Committee, voiced deep concern about the reports and said if the Emirates transferred the weapons, it would be a serious violation of U.S. law. Haftar's forces have been unsuccessful in seeking to capture Tripoli from the government of National Accord in an offensive that began in April. Libya has remained beset by turmoil since 2011, when a bloody NATO-backed uprising led to the ouster and death of long-serving President Muammar Gaddafi, after more than 4 decades in power. On Wednesday, people all over the world celebrated WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange's birthday and freedom of the press with the hashtag Candles for Julian campaign. But one group of people, the Catalans, are also marching in a hunger strike, celebrating their independence and fighting for the freedom of their own politically imprisoned comrades. Activist Post reports that WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has been imprisoned for months in Belmarsh prison, pending a hearing on extradition to the United States. Ironically, when Assange was holed up inside the Ecuadorian embassy prior to his arrest, his internet was taken away for criticizing the treatment of the Catalan people and daring to tell the tale of their revolutionary referendum from Spain in 2017, when Spain responded by invoking Article 155 of the Constitution, which suspended Catalonia's autonomy. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Gilman's Hardware is a local business with a very special story. Although small and family-owned, the storefront operation has managed to consistently exploit and debase its workers just as if they were members of a giant multinational corporation.
From the moment I started the store 6 years ago, I wanted to make sure that every employee here at Gilman's felt like they were nothing more than a cog in a giant machine, just as if they had worked at one of our larger corporate competitors.
Den Blaker said that despite having only 10 employees and a single location, he's managed to implement a number of unique policies to significantly reduce employee morale, including forbidding sales clerks to sit down during lengthy shifts, reducing their number of days with paid time off, and insisting on humiliating pat-downs during lunch breaks to ensure they never felt like trusted or valued employees.
Other small businesses might have given me benefits or, let me take a day off.
But everyone here at Gilman's does their best to treat you like you're a totally replaceable tool for generating profit.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's free as in freedom, 855-450-3733. Thank you for joining us joining me in mourning this colossal failure, which we called the American experiment, that many of us over the past couple hundred years have looked forward to a solution, a system of government that would be truly representative. And my contention is it hasn't worked out well. We're going to see what everybody thinks, and myself is Chris.
I'm Ian.
And nobody.
Dropping the formerly known as. At this point, you're pretty much famous by that, so I guess you can.
Yeah.
I like
Nobody
it.
does what he wants.
Sometimes I put it, yeah. Nobody does what I want.
So, let's continue.
Yes, one thing I did want to tell you about is AnyPay. Hey, AnyPay is a way to accept cryptocurrencies in your business. I use it in my business, and it works great. Do you operate a small business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet on your cash register, you're already almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in the setup page, and load the app. That's it. You're now accepting cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. They got a couple other things going on too. They've the iOS app is now out there.
Yeah, that was, I think, December.
Okay.
And actually, I should probably rewrite that copy because now you don't even have to go to their website to start. You can just download the app and start from inside the app. It's pretty slick.
Very cool. So that makes it available on Android, iOS. They also have map.anypay.global, so you can find out what local businesses are accepting cryptocurrencies close to you. Pretty cool site, and they have they've been real good and real attentive to the issues that do come up. And I know, Ian, you report what you find. I try to report what I find. And
I saw Derek J., who's one of the two founders, giving support to somebody in Russian today in their Telegram chat room.
Oh, okay. Does he speak Russian?
I don't know. I don't know if he was just using like Google Translate or whatever, but he was going through the effort to try to talk Russian to somebody, which was cool.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's good. You can find out more, again, at anypay.global. That's anypay.global. We've been talking about the Declaration of Independence, and its signing is traditionally traditionally celebrated on the 4th of July, and we refer to that in the United States as our Independence Day.
No, they don't. They don't refer to it that. If you listen to like news media, if you listen to people just kind of around town, like a cashier who wishes you a happy 4th, or if you listen to news media, if you listen to politicians, it's almost always it's probably 99% of the time people will say happy 4th of July or happy 4th.
So do you think that is because, number one, we all forget our history? I brought in another story which talked about how 75% of most Americans can't pass a basic citizenship test.
I believe that.
Real basic questions. How many branches of government are there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Do you think it's that, or do you think that people just don't feel independent anymore? I feel that I've lost any sense of freedom and independence I ever felt.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a deliberate choice. If some Bilderbergers in some smoky back room decided, all right, from now on, put the notice out. We're sending it out to all the media.
Yeah.
Don't call it Independence Day anymore. Because they don't. It's very strange.
Yeah.
There's not like a pocket of a few places that are consistent with calling it Independence Day. It just doesn't happen.
Well, there's been a sustained effort to tear down everything about the revolution, everything about the idea of secession.
So you think this was deliberate?
Yes, I do think it was deliberate because they don't want to focus on on Independence Day being about the right to secede.
Well, and let's talk about that, Rich, because that's exactly what I'm thinking this Independence Day is we need 50 states to secede from the Union. And in that, what I'm saying is we need to do away with Washington. We need to do away with all this stuff that popped up after we had a good start, but it quickly fell apart. And
I'm with you.
Ended
Secession now.
Yeah, and what's the matter with the state of Nevada being a completely independent and sovereign state who can trade freely with anybody else around, if they choose or not.
I think that's the right answer. I mean, I think some states would enter into alliances with each other or federations with each other, and that's fine. And if some states don't, that's fine with me too.
Well, the critics will say the feds will never let you go.
And I say to that, boogaloo.
Yeah.
That's what people need to do, and you need to. We celebrate
the critics
a
also
day.
used to say that the Soviet Union would never let its satellite states escape, but they did.
Yep.
Right.
It's one of those things. We celebrate a day when 56 men put their signatures, put their John Hancocks, in one case literally.
Not to mention their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honors.
Thank you. And many of those suffered losses of all of those things because they were willing to do that. And they did that against the strongest military on the planet at the time.
Yeah. And a lot of them also were left with crushing financial burdens.
Certainly.
And that brings to mind some really fascinating things that I learned today about Jefferson and his slaves. Apparently, Jefferson's slaves were actually inherited from his wife's family. And because Jefferson was deeply in debt, partially from helping finance the war effort, he could not free his slaves. Or his wife's family's slaves that he had inherited
to free?
Because he was bankrupt. And so if he was to separate from them, he would have had to render them to his creditors to be liquidated. And that apparently is why, although he was an opponent of slavery, he never freed his slaves. It was because he legally couldn't.
I'll have to research that more. I've been to Monticello a few times. It's to me as a former Republican, as a former, I'm going to go as far as saying a former neocon, but I still respected the ideas of liberty. I just was going about them in a completely wrong manner.
Well, I know how that goes. I'm a former socialist. The only thing, I would call myself a libertarian socialist, but the only thing that
whatever that
showed that I would eventually be a libertarian was I was on the right side of gun rights. So I knew who should hold the power.
There you go. We're going to go to the phones where we've got John calling in from San Antonio. John, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, I can.
Hey, what's up? I wanted to call in to add a little bit to the discussion y'all are having.
Certainly.
About I think, one of the reasons why I'm like y'all noticed they're saying Happy 4th now is because they are trying to make people forget. But I think people forget the fact that we never even became independent, from England. It was just all part of the plan, the colonialization process. I called before.
Is this the conspiracy theory that Great Britain is still in charge that you're bringing up?
The B.
I don't know if I wouldn't. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't. I feel like when you try to what is it called? Like pin one person down, they always. It's more of a. I don't think it's one person. It's more of a overall like. It's people who want to stay in power. It's not just one race or one country. everybody, you said it before, human nature, you were saying it.
I hear you.
People
John, I'm going to put you on hold, and we're going to bring you back if that's okay, because I want to hear more about this. 855-450-FREE.
He just dropped.
Oh, I guess we don't. 855-450-FREE.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite for life. Pick up 2 tubes of Doggosuds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggosud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggosuds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com.
Are you about to meet the media? If you're about to be interviewed, do their homework for them. Know this about the person who will interview you. He or she is busy, so expect minimal, if any, preparation. He or she doesn't know as much about your topic as you do. He or she isn't as concerned as you are about getting your message out, so you need to take responsibility. Provide a biography and fact sheet, photographs, or other materials that tell your story. Reporters won't be put off if you supply frequently asked questions. Remember, Public Speaking 101, at the end of the speech, what's the one thing you want them to remember? You can download the document I supply to reporters who interview me and squirm through a video that demonstrates how not to conduct your media interview at www.survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless free market non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's free as in freedom. 855-450-3733. That's our toll-free number. I want to talk to you. And the question I have is, are we truly celebrating Independence Day? But and I quote Thomas Jefferson here, but when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuant invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government. Did you hear that? Thomas Jefferson is talking to you. He is saying, when a long train of abuses and usurpations, you've made your government know that you're not happy, then it's time to step up. It's time to put your lives on the line.
Well, what are you
now,
proposing?
If you don't want to, fine. Quit complaining about it.
Well, they can vote.
Does nothing.
Well, it makes it feel like something's happening.
It does. It does nothing. You can't vote for people in a country with 320 million people where you get to vote on a half dozen, maybe, in your area that are going to represent you. International government that has grown so bloated, so disgustingly fat with pork, there's no hope. You can't reverse this. It's done. Put a fork in it. I'm sorry if that's not what you wanted to hear on Independence Day, but it's the truth. If you're left-right, you're getting screwed. I hate to be the one to break it to you. You may want to go out and buy your made-in-China American flag at Walmart and fly it proudly on your house to demonstrate what a dupe you are. Feel free. But I'm not going to be that guy. And I hope, and this is me speaking honestly, I hope you wake up. I hope you see that this is like a bad science fiction movie. How badly we have just become numb to these grand usurpations by our federal government that we just take it. We know that in 4 years, my guy's going to get back in there, and then everything will be right with the world. Or if not, maybe 4 years after that, everything will be right with the world. You're wrong.
Neither left nor right moves toward liberty.
No, they don't.
Every time they get in, they move away from liberty in a slightly different direction.
I'm reminded of a quote that we talked about, I don't know, it must be like 13 years ago. It seems like a long time. It was during the Bush administration when the Republicans were completely in control.
Right.
Which was, there was a few years there where the Republicans had
both houses,
total control of
both
presidency,
houses and
both
the presidency.
Houses.
Yep.
And I remember there was a guy, his name I think was Trent Lott, some Republican cat.
Chairman, he was the
like
Senate Majority Leader.
Yeah, he was some kind of big thing.
Yep.
Anyway, he actually said that they had cut government to the bone.
To the bone.
That was the term that he used.
Wow.
You'll hear that same term out of some congressman today.
As the government continued to expand and expand and expand under Bush, under Obama, under Trump, under all of these presidents, this guy had the gall to actually claim they'd sliced it back to the bone. They couldn't cut it any further.
Your federal government does so many things. It claims as powers that are not amongst the enumerated powers that are listed in the Constitution. The way the Constitution was written was to enumerate those few things delegated to a federal government.
Now it's a massive behemoth that has tentacles into every aspect of people's lives.
And
do you want to read
else.
Article 1, Section 8 or 9, where it enumerates the powers of Congress? That's always an interesting thing to read because they're so specific.
Yes.
And they're so small.
Yeah. But what we have, and I'm going to go back to the date I called out, 1803, Marbury v. Madison, when you allow the federal government to decide whether the federal government should be in charge of this or that, whether it's how much wheat a man can grow on his own property without affecting interstate commerce. Go ahead and laugh at me. That was a Supreme Court decision. That was
I'd say where
Whitburn.
they went wrong is when they decided to institute a government.
Yep, I agree.
I mean, we can micromanage what went wrong, but the bottom line is every time there's a government, the same things go wrong.
And they will.
If you read the actual train of usurpations, as Jefferson puts it, It enumerates conditions that sound a lot like today. He has sent swarms of officers to eat out our sustenance. Is one that has always resonated me. He has protected his troops against prosecution for the murders that they've committed. That's very much a paraphrase.
Right.
But he has transported our citizens to be tried for pretended offenses. You know, these are all things that are still happening. The whole drug war on drugs, it's pretended offenses.
How about this one? He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices. Well, yeah, you get appointed for life in a sense. One guy can decide whether you get to serve until you die or whether you're out.
That happens here in New Hampshire.
Of course.
Governor appoints judges here.
He has erected a multitude of new offices. Like the Department of Education, perhaps. Like the Department of Energy, perhaps. You can go, the list goes on and on.
FBI, NSA, CIA, the whole alphabet soup.
And
the Department of Education, the Department of Agriculture.
And you are telling me that you support this. These are the same things.
No one in this studio.
Wait. Who said who supported that?
Bear with me. I'm going to use the we repeatedly, and I'm talking to every American citizen.
You're talking about you're saying you, the listener. You're addressing those who believe that this system is still together and functioning.
Thank you, Ian.
Are they listening to our show?
We're on talk radio.
We don't know who's listening.
I don't know if they've turned off the radio in disgust because, we're calling out the truth. It's uncomfortable when people say things that are true.
When you call for another government program, you are saying we support one of the things that we went to war with England over because we didn't want that to happen. You are being unpatriotic. You are.
But we need a universal basic income, Chris. The machines are going to take our jobs.
Oh, yes. They will, and then
that doesn't really work in the presence of homesteading, because if the machines take your jobs, go get some land and grow some food. You'll be fine, bro. People will trade any. If people are producing manufactured goods that cheaply, then they'll trade a lot of them for your organic tomatoes.
We're sorry, you
whatever.
can't take this land. We have a significant governmental interest in continuing the Bureau of Land Management.
Well, there may be desert tortoises there, and we cannot allow any development or any grazing on this land.
I've got a great recipe for desert tortoise soup.
Sounds good. Now you're making me hungry. 855-450 free.
Desert tortoise or dessert tortoise?
Depends on how
either
hungry
way, it depends
you are.
on your mood.
What do you think? Are you tired of me picking on your precious Declaration of Independence when I call them out? 855-450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Free Talk Live.
I'm sure I can speak for many of thousands. I don't fear illegals. I don't want them here and their filth that they bring with and the disease that they bring with.
All the people who work in the stores and the markets and the restaurants are overwhelmingly Hispanic, and they seem very clean and be doing a fine job here, and I've never heard anything about problems with disease.
For you to defend the illegal immigrants, and I'm not sure, as I said earlier, which host at what time is very condescending defending.
Madam, I will defend anybody that is peaceful and looking for a better life for themselves. We already pointed out.
I don't defend them. I wish that people like you.
You say that Mexicans are filthy and you call me condescending, lady? You say they're disease-ridden and filthy and I'm condescending?
And they are. And
You're outrageous. Get out of here. Thank you for the call.
She's had all her rope. She's hung herself.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855, 450 free. We're here on a Independence Day. I'm mourning it. Some people like to celebrate it. I think it went wrong, tragically wrong, and what we have today in no way envisions, it nowhere meets the vision of what our founding fathers, as people so luxuriously like to refer to them as, had in mind. They did not picture a king who sat in Washington, D.C. Now we call him the president. He did not see a House of Parliament that was going to be subject to his whims, and we call that our Congress. Call it what it is. There is no more representation today than there was before, which is why I think secession is the only way out of this mess by all 50 states. We can govern much better locally than we can trying to representatively govern 320 million people. Do you feel that you are represented? Or do you feel that Trump has done something that you found reprehensible and you got nowhere to turn? Or your congressman has? Or Obama did? It doesn't matter if you're right or left. If you support the idea of liberty as described and put into very clear words in the Declaration of Independence, then do something about it. Demand your representatives at the local level take the necessary step, and that's to say Washington has overstepped its bounds.
Well, you remember there was, after Obama's election in 2012, there was a website that the White House, I guess, sponsored that allowed people to put a petition up on the official government website. and get a response. Was the idea is if you could get over 100,000, I think it was, signatures on the petition, that they would respond.
There'd be a response from the White House on this.
Petition.
We're listening.
Yeah, and they did get over 100,000 petition signatures on the petition for Texas to secede from the United States. And the response, if I recall correctly, I'm paraphrasing, was basically, yeah, that was settled by the Civil War. You're not going anywhere.
War does not determine who is right. War determines who is left.
Right, and war determines who gets to write the history afterwards. What I'm saying is, it's not that, I was listening to Free Talk Live, and they got this host on there called Chris Reitman, and he was saying secession's a good thing. So he must support slavery. He must support the South. He must support this or that. You know what I support? I support liberty, and I don't support a bloated, failed government in Washington telling me which way the wind blows. It's BS, and you shouldn't put up with it either. Unfortunately, shy of your state leaving this compact, and that's what it was, folks. It wasn't some legal thing as defined in the Constitution. The Constitution was created by the states. The federal government was created by the states. Are you telling me that if I bake a cake, I can't throw the cake away? Well, this is one cake that went horribly wrong when you baked it, and you need to throw this thing away. You need to throw the federal government into the trash heap of history so future generations can look back and say, you know what? That's how you deal with tyrants.
But wait a minute, Chris. They say that you need to have a federal government because it helps the states get along better. It helps the states trade with one another. I mean, don't we need to have a federal government?
No.
But what about states that disagree and have put up trade barriers and
then you are going to work out those problems, or you're going to suffer. And if some state, and I was thinking about this on the way into the studio, I'm like, okay, I'm just thinking about universal, a universal living, paying off your college. These sound like great California ideas.
Universal living, you mean universal basic income?
Thank you.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm just wound up.
A paycheck from the government, basically, for everybody.
For doing nothing. Yeah. I think if California wants to be one of those incubators, you want to try it at the state level, that's fine. Don't ask for my money here in New Hampshire. But you should be free to do that. And your voters should be free to support that through their taxes. And if it fails miserably, then what's going to happen is you're going to accelerate the emigration from California. People will vote with their feet. And if you start passing a bunch of stuff, then you're going to end up with an empty state. That's okay. Or an empty state with Hollywood, and you'll have that still. But maybe people in the rest of the country will still, go out and see your movies. So you'll have some source of income. But that's it. If you do, you are free at whatever level other than one that imposes your will on me. You are free to try whatever cockamamie idea you want to come up with.
And there are some other forms of secession that would probably be useful, if nothing else, in increasing the variety of the options that we have. For example, there's a proposal that California break up into 3 different states.
Good point, Rich.
There have been proposals of breaking up Texas.
New York has one on the table for 5 New Yorks.
Yep. The other possibility is there are a number of urban areas where the city services are so comprehensive that it really makes sense for them to be city-states, because the interests of New York City do not coincide with those of New York State, and the interests of Chicago do not coincide with those of Illinois, and the interests of Detroit don't coincide with those of Michigan. So
certainly.
So, I think that could be an improvement.
What the problem is people are stuck on this thing we were handed out in grade school that showed all 50 states and named the 50 states, and here's where they're all at, and here's where their capitals are. And you people took those handouts and you put the weight of God behind them. There is no God that tells us how to organize ourselves. There is a God, I believe there's a God, that tells me to live my life the way I feel I should live my life. I don't believe there's a God that tells you that you have dominion over me. And that's the difference. we have to realize that people in California have every right to do stupid stuff, and as I do here in New Hampshire, to hopefully do the right thing. And if I screw up, I pay the consequences.
Chris, we all live in society, and if you live in society, that means that you agree. You've signed a social contract by virtue of the fact that you're sucking air here in this plot of land. And
Could
so
you present a notarized copy of that?
Doesn't matter. It's social. You signed it. That's what they
Where
all
is
say.
it?
So you signed this contract. That means you're in society. If you don't like
What
it,
does it
why don't
say?
you just leave?
I don't feel I should be the one who has to leave if you're telling me rules from 1,000 miles away, from 2,000 miles away, from 3,000 miles away, or better yet, if you just feel that this power granted to you by the original states meant unlimited power. You're wrong. You are wrong. Every agency in the federal government would be tenuous at best to demonstrate how they have a constitutional power to do anything at all, other than arguably maybe the Treasury, because there's a right that they have the power to mint coin. You could say, I think the Department of Interior may be mentioned there, and Defense certainly is.
Postal Service?
But
Patent Office,
Postal Roads,
unfortunately, but that one could be cut out.
Right. But how about Washington stands up on its own? How about you, just federal government? How about we flip it around? It's just you guys. You can try to impose your will on us, and we'll decide whether we want to follow you or not. That's what secession would be. And
if enough people stopped, then there's nothing they can do.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be a shooting war. It could just be people saying, okay, well, we're no longer going to acknowledge you, government people, you federal government people. We're no longer going to send you money. We're no longer going to obey your regulations. We're just going to opt out. And what are you going to do about it?
Tell me, what are you going to do about it? You're not going to do a damn thing, because the power truly resides in the states and with the citizens therein. And I hate to break it to you, but we could take you in a fight. 855-450-FREE. Am I completely wrong? Do I think that we shouldn't go boogaloo? 855-450-FREE.
Jake was in big trouble with the IRS. He owed how much?
$92,000.
Ouch. The IRS left no room for Jake to breathe.
They put a lien on my house, took all the money out of my bank account, took money out of my paychecks. So it was a nightmare.
He needed help fast.
I figured that all these companies were the same until I called Federal Tax Management. You could just tell they knew what they were talking about. Right then and there, I felt like I had some hope.
Stop the liens, levies, and garnishments fast and qualify for one of several special IRS programs that could reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. So, how'd it go for Jake?
They did what they said they would do. They came through for me. I ended up saving an unbelievable amount. I was so jazzed. I was extremely happy.
If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, take Jake's advice.
Give Federal Tax Management a phone call. If they help me, they can help anybody.
Call the Federal Tax Management Hotline now. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625.
This is George Norrie from Coast to Coast AM and History Channel's Ancient Aliens, and we're proud to promote amazing energy, nutrition, and skincare products from Jeunesse. Visit gcnlife.com for products like Luminesse. The Luminesse anti-aging skincare line restores youthful vitality and radiance to your skin, reducing the appearances of fine lines and wrinkles with stem cell technology. There's also Instantly Ageless, which works within 2 minutes, reducing under-eye bags, fine lines, wrinkles, and pores. Jeunesse has products to help you with how you look and feel in a very short time. Nobel-nominated Dr. Vincent Jampapa has designed several products helping the body perform better. Jeunesse products have a 30-day money-back guarantee, and they're available up to a 25% preferred price discount. See all of the amazing Jeunesse products at gcnlife.com or call toll-free 1-844-443-6637. 1-844-443-6637.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855 453. That's free as in freedom. Here on this Independence Day version of Free Talk Live. And I want to give a little shout out, not that we do shouts out, but I want to say hey to Muse fan. Muse is a gold amplifier. What is an amplifier? An amplifier is somebody who takes part in Free Talk Live's AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. And that's what we do with the monies that come in through the AMP program. It allows us to get on more radio stations and to get the message of liberty out there to more folks. And again, as a gold amplifier, he's pledged $10 a month, which is pretty cool. And I really appreciate it. I love it when we announce new stations because that's new ears, new listeners that have never heard what we do here. And it's another opportunity to spread the message of liberty. And we think that's an important thing. You can find out more at amp.freetalklive.com and maybe take part in the program yourself. In studio, it's myself, Chris.
Hey, I'm Ian.
And nobody.
And we've been talking all things independence, but...
And secession. We'll get into this later, what you just pointed at, but secession is what you said the answer was here, Chris. And I got to say, I'm happy to hear you say that. How long have you been a secessionist?
I think really since I became more libertarian in my values, it's nothing I've ever opposed. I've always felt that every state, if you came together and you created a sub-organization, let's just call it the federal government for lack of a better term, and that thing had worn out its welcome and we all agreed that it was a bad thing, then any state should have always had the opportunity to say, you know what, we're not interested. This deal didn't really work out for us, so we're just going to leave.
How did they leave that out? How did they, when you come into an agreement, with somebody, whether it's for business or marriage or whatever we're talking about, there's usually some sort of an exit clause. There's usually some kind of, okay, if this isn't working, you can pay this penalty and go, or whatever.
Because every state at the time recognized that they could leave at any time. It wasn't
they just thought it was an inherent part of the deal?
Yes. If we created something, how could we not leave it if we wanted to?
The interesting thing is, if you read the Articles of Confederation, at the very beginning of the articles, it says that this is that they are creating a permanent union of the states. The Constitution has no such language.
No. No, that was one of the issues they had with the Articles of Confederation. The Articles of Confederation, if you've not heard it or you can't pass your citizenship test, that was a form of government that predates the U.S. Constitution.
Well, I think it
was a first attempt.
It would be one of those things where somebody ought to try it. It's never really been done, right? Like, there's never been a state government since the creation of the United States that has said, okay, see ya.
Oh, there were a bunch of southern states.
Well, there was that. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, like without firing a shot against the other side, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And the South recognized that what they were doing was likely to be met with an armed response because
But the South also foolishly fired first on Fort Sumter, and I really wonder if things hadn't worked out different, if things wouldn't have worked out differently if they had not made that mistake.
Well, and the other thing is you had a very different world in 1861. It was a world where you had the majority of the country's agriculture in one part of the country, and you had the majority of the manufacturing in another part, and both of them felt that they were leading the horse, but in reality they needed to cooperate, and you had both of them trying to play shenanigans in where? Washington, D.C. They were trying to come up with things that they could do to stymie the other groups so they wouldn't get too powerful. This should have been an indication that things really were not working out when you had states unable to leave. Now, that is not an endorsement. I can hear you out there. I can hear you. This guy on Free Talk Live was talking about how great the South was and how he thinks slavery should be brought back. I said nothing of the sort. I would never say any of the thing of the sort. But what I will say is that every state, according to your Constitution, has the majority of powers that are listed in the Constitution. Very few things are delegated to a federal government. Today, in reality, it's like 99% of the power is delegated to the federal government, and whatever scraps you can fight your way through our court system that we run and claim that are ours, then you can maybe keep that, or maybe a portion of it. Maybe I'll just ban your bump stocks. You can still keep the gun for now. Well, I don't really like silencers either. This is the kind of crap. You have been done a disservice by previous generations, and you are continuing to do a disservice by allowing Washington to stand. Get out.
Yeah, it can't happen soon enough, honestly. And it's just it's disappointing how uninterested many people seem in this. Although I will say this, I didn't do it this year, but on previous years, previous years, I have gone down to they've got like a baseball game, kind of like a 4th of July baseball game here in town.
Yeah.
It usually happens on July 3rd, but it's supposedly celebrating the 4th or Independence Day or whatever. I'm sure they just say the 4th.
The 4th.
And so what we've done is we've stood outside of that game, and as people are going in, so an hour before it starts, we're out there with New Hampshire Independence flyers. There is an organization called the Foundation for New Hampshire Independence, and they have some flyers. And they're very persuasive. They don't use the S word. They don't use the word secession.
God forbid.
Because that sort of comes with it some sort of preconceived notions of violence
and slavery,
slavery. But also, they use the term New Hampshire's independence, that New Hampshire should be independent from the federal government. And what are the benefits of that? And it's true for all the different states. There's many benefits to come from.
First benefit is we don't have to pay for their damn wars.
There's a good one.
Here's a fun little historical fact, too.
Or anything of theirs.
How about what if New Hampshire left first?
Just like it did back in the day?
Just like it did in 1774, 76. The first state that wrote its own constitution and declared themselves sovereign was the state of New Hampshire, where we broadcast this radio show from.
Wasn't it the Republic of New Hampshire then?
I don't know what they named themselves, but I know they were the first ones with a constitution that did not see or sanction the British government. That's a good
That's what
thing.
I heard.
But
And that
anyway,
was
I agree with you,
1774.
Ian. I think that is a great. That's great outreach.
Yeah. Well, let me also say this about the other times that I have given these flyers out. I've also given them out at like the county fair a few years back before they banned me. I gave out. There was like one day we were doing I think like Bitcoin outreach, or we had some sort of maybe it was Shire Society. Anyway, we were getting people to sign the Shire Society Declaration. And which is like a personal declaration of independence. You can go and see it over at shiresociety.com. But also had these independence flyers for New Hampshire, and was handing a bunch of them out during like large. There was a time when a lot of people passed by the table, so I was able to hand out probably hundreds of these flyers. People were going to like the demolition derby or whatever, so handed out those flyers. And of those people that took the time to kind of look at it, because many of them are in a rush. You don't have a chance to really get any kind of reaction from them. They're not looking. They're just walking by and grabbing something out of your hand. But of those who kind of looked down and took a moment to read a little bit of the flyer, a big smile spread across their face.
Nice.
And the reactions that I've seen, now you may get a different reaction in California or Florida or New York or wherever, but at least here in the Shire, here in New Hampshire, it seems like the native population is to some extent primed for this. They love New Hampshire. Now, I'm sure there's still some flag wavers out there. There's no doubt about it. Those people exist. But the responses I got were positive. Nobody crumbled up the flyer and threw it back at me. Nobody, came at me with some sort of nastiness as a result of it.
The Northeast will rise again.
At least New Hampshire might.
No, I suspect that's going to be the case in a lot of states. I don't know. I think the number of states that are, say 75, 80, 90% in favor of continuation of this grand experiment is probably dropping every day. I think everyone is getting more irate with Washington, and I say it's time to end it. What do you think? Call me, 855-450-FREE, and we'll talk about it. I want to hear from you. This is not the Chris Show. This is the You Show. Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? One? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is, the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com, and it's a place you can send any business, and they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. helpmetakebitcoin.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,418, silver at $15.30, and Bitcoin is trading at $11,209. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, U.S. President Donald Trump's decision to display tanks on the National Mall during the Independence Day festivities is causing a meltdown among his critics, who claim it's an authoritarian move worthy of North Korea or Russia. The Free Thought Project reports that as part of the Salute to America celebrations on the 4th of July, the U.S. Navy Blue Angels acrobatic group will fly over the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., and there will be tanks stationed outside on the grounds. The event will culminate with the customary fireworks display. All of that is intended to show off what Trump calls, quote, the strongest and most advanced military anywhere in the world, end quote. A rail car with two M1A1 Abrams tanks, two Bradley infantry fighting vehicles, and what looked to be an M88A2 recovery vehicle are all part of the 64th Armored Regiment from Fort Stewart, Georgia, and have been spotted outside the Capitol on Tuesday. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A senior U.S. senator is demanding an investigation over reports that American-made weapons were found at a base of forces loyal to Khalifa Haftar, the East Libyan-based military commander. The anti-media reports the UN-recognized government of National Accord said its forces found the weapons at a base they captured from Haftar's militia in the strategic town of Garan, located south of the capital of Tripoli, last week. It said the seized weapons included 4 Javelin anti-tank missiles packed in wooden crates marked Armed Forces of the United Arab Emirates. In a letter to Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, Senator Robert Menendez of New Jersey, the top Democrat on the Foreign Relations Committee, voiced deep concern about the reports and said if the Emirates transferred the weapons, it would be a serious violation of U.S. law. Haftar's forces have been unsuccessful in seeking to capture Tripoli from the government of National Accord in an offensive that began in April. Libya has remained beset by turmoil since 2011, when a bloody NATO-backed uprising led to the ouster and death of long-serving President Muammar Gaddafi, after more than 4 decades in power. On Wednesday, people all over the world celebrated WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange's birthday and freedom of the press with the #CandlesForJulian campaign. But one group of people, the Catalans, are also marching in a hunger strike, celebrating their independence and fighting for the freedom of their own politically imprisoned comrades. Activist Post reports that WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has been imprisoned for months in Belmarsh prison, pending a hearing on extradition to the United States. Ironically, when Assange was holed up inside the Ecuadorian embassy prior to his arrest, his internet was taken away for criticizing the treatment of the Catalan people and daring to tell the tale of their revolutionary referendum from Spain in 2017, when Spain responded by invoking Article 155 of the Constitution, which suspended Catalonia's autonomy. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
If you're a parent parent, chances are you know all about the Spooky Truth books, with subjects ranging from shadowy fraternal organizations to mind-controlling TV shows. Kids can't get enough of this series of short, scary children's novels.
And Spooky Truth author K.L. Graves is joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Now, my kids just love these books. In just 4 years, you put out 25 books. It came from Tower 7, Curse of the Chemtrails, The Zionist Who Cried Holocaust.
Now, this stuff has really been catching on. Over 40 million copies sold, so many bestsellers out there.
I've been thrilled. Before this series, I was self-publishing pamphlets and handing them out on the train. Now I get emails from teachers and parents all the time telling me that my books are all their kids can talk about.
Oh, well, it's true. My son used to hate to read. Now he's holed up in the basement with these Spooky Truth books all day and night. Says he never watches TV, doesn't even want tap water anymore. He just loves reading so much.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. Thank you for joining us for hour 3 of our very special Independence Day program.
Isn't that special?
That's exactly my thoughts when I hear people say, well, if we just elect the right people, isn't that special? Isn't that special that you still believe that you are going to vote liberty back into your life? You're not. You're going to face more usurpations of your liberty from your federal government. And I am advocating that we leave the federal government. That requires states to secede. Just leave.
And it also requires voting. I mean, if the state government is to vote to secede, then you're going to have your people in the state government.
The big difference is going to be it's going to be much more representative of the people of a given state. Now, I'll take it a step further, and if you have seceded from the United States, congratulations. I applaud you. But then if your state goes through a similar thing and says, you know what, we can really govern ourselves better at the county level, way to go. That's even better. If you feel that government should only be appropriate at a town level, then by all means.
What about the individual level?
That's where I'm headed, Ian. That's where I'm headed. If we believe in defending the rights of the minority, there is no greater minority than the individual. And that's where sovereignty lies. It's going to be a lot easier to achieve that at, say, the town level than the federal level. And if you believe that you are just, all you need is one more election cycle to get the right people in Washington to just repeal all the stuff that they have done, all the powers that they have usurped. If you believe that, well, aren't you special? Aren't you special? Here's a couple lines. We've been talking about the Declaration of Independence. Among the grievances for cutting off our trade with all parts of the world. In other words, we should be free to trade with any country anywhere in the world.
Even Iran?
Even
North
Iran.
Korea?
Absolutely.
Cuba?
Here's another one. Get this one. They were upset that, quote, for imposing taxes on us without your consent.
Is there such a thing as a consensual tax?
For imposing taxes on us without our consent. I could see that. I could see that if you fell in and you believe that, you know, some level of state government required some things to be done and it just wasn't likely to be done voluntarily and you wanted to vote on a tax, feel free. And maybe it's so low that it's
well, if it was done
relevant.
by consent, then that's a contract. I mean, if there's consent involved, then the taxes would have been laid out. That would have been what you looked at and said, okay, this seems reasonable. I'm willing to pay this in return for having the roads built or whatever. And you'd put your signature on it and you'd cut your check and you'd enter into a contract with whatever that organization would be. If they wanted to call it taxes, okay. But that has not yet existed, to my knowledge.
Well, and if you, at the federal level, of course, if you don't pay your taxes, you are going to be subjected to...
You mean their taxes?
Their taxes. You're going to be subjected to all sorts of things. Probably without the benefit of a jury trial. Oh, I'm sorry. That was one of the one of the grievances that is written in the Declaration of Independence for depriving us, in many cases, of the benefit of trial by jury.
Well, you'll get a jury trial. I remember that guy, was it Jose Padilla or Padilla? Remember he got convicted by a jury that wore all red, white, and blue on, like, they did color coordination of what they wore into the courtroom on the day that they read his conviction. And that was a jury trial.
Well, at least he got something in that case. What I'm saying is when the EPA decides that the water, that swampy part of your land, is actually a wetland and you can't plant anything there or build a house because some Fed in Washington believes he has the power, you're not going to get benefit of trial by jury.
No.
No matter what the Constitution says, that's just administrative stuff. That's just stuff that we granted ourselves. Actually, hey, check it out. We had the Supreme Court take a look at it, and they ruled in our favor. So there, I guess you should have no questions. Just suck it up.
Well, I'd like to see the trial by jury available for every charge. Like here in New Hampshire, for instance, you cannot get a trial by a jury for a violation, and you cannot get a trial by a jury for what they call a Class B misdemeanor. So their excuse is, well, you don't need a jury because there's no jail that's on the table for a violation or a Class B misdemeanor. So therefore, you don't need that trial by jury. You can just have the judge.
But you're still at risk of your property, and according to the Constitution, if the amount in controversy is greater than $20, it should be settled by a jury.
It should be. We're going to go to the phones where we've got Robert calling in from Vermont. Robert, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Okay, so on the first segment of the hour, Free Talk Live, you guys talked about the tariffs and, the effects it'll have on, goods and services.
Good.
But what I have not heard is what kind of effect it'll have on, like, the housing market or property or land or something like that.
Well, unless you're importing your land from China, it shouldn't have any effect.
No, but we've got a series of tariffs on lumber products that may still be in effect with Canada. And that has certainly affected people's ability to build houses for a affordable price, and that was one of the first things Trump did.
It raised the price of paper too, I think, for like printing newspapers and such.
Very likely. I do remember specifically the first trade war before China was all the talk was with Canada. How can you get angry with a Canadian? I don't know if that's even
Blame
possible.
Canada, blame Canada. It isn't even a real country anyway.
Well, as long as they'll leave my cannabis alone, I'm okay with it. But I still think that taxation is theft.
I agree with you completely, Robert. Thank you so much for the call. And they're not going to leave your cannabis alone. They are going to tax it if they get their hands on it. Of course, right now the federal government just says you're in violation of federal law. So I don't care what the states say. Look, it's on our books as it's against the law because we scheduled it.
Schedule 1, no medicinal use.
Yeah. Now, if you're interested in celebrating Independence Day by reading the Constitution, that would be a great idea. And I challenge you to find the place in the Constitution that authorizes the war on drugs.
Good answer.
Something general welfare clause.
Something.
Yeah, you see, there's two places where general welfare are mentioned. The first is in the preamble, and it talks about the intent of the document. The second is in Article 1, Section 8, where it talks about the powers of Congress. And again, it's in a preamble to a list of powers. So it's talking about what they intend to accomplish. It's certainly not talking about welfare in the modern sense because they never called it welfare back in the day. The reason they invented the word welfare was to make this sound like it was constitutionally approved, but it was not.
Even if it wasn't. We're going to go to the phones where we've got Yonder calling in from Georgia. Yonder, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello.
Hello.
On the air.
Yes.
Hi. So I wanted to talk about free speech and censorship. I'm kind of a younger viewer, if I had to say, but like, what is your stance on like free speech and censorship when it comes to online like interactions?
They should be allowed.
Well, no,
But-
I mean, well, hold on. There's online. Wherever you are, you're probably on somebody's website. You may be on Twitch, or you may be on, some social media site, but you're on a site that other people run that belongs to somebody else. So they have the ability. If you want, you can put them on hold, Chris.
Yeah, Yonder, can you hang in there? We're going to come back to you after just a moment.
Yes, just put them right on hold.
Oh, sure.
Just do it now, just in case. Thank you for that. So anyway, we'll continue here in just a few moments, and we can talk to Yonder more about censorship on the internet, because it's an important question.
And it is, and it's got a couple facets to it. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com. I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at MyMagicMud.com. FTL20, MyMagicMud.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. That spells 855-450. Jeez, I'm talking myself in circles. 855-450 free. That's what it sort of spells. But free is for freedom, and this is Independence Day, and everybody in the United States seems to be celebrating it, except for me, the battle Grinch, who thinks this should be a day of mourning because this system did not work. It had the best of intentions. We got out from under the rule of a despotic king in England. We declared our independence, and then we forgot everything that's important. And what is important is not to let a huge monstrosity rule your life. And now we have that huge monstrosity in the form of Washington, D.C. It is sad and sick and disgusting. That's my opinion, but I am sure yours may differ. Again, call me up, 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number. And when I say us, this is myself, Chris.
I'm Ian.
And nobody.
And we've been talking all things constitutional. But some of our callers want to talk about other things, and that's what's great about this show.
Fine.
You can talk about anything you like. We are going back to Yonder in Georgia. Yonder, you're back on Free Talk Live. You there?
Yes, hello.
Yonder,
There's been some fireworks.
How are you watching the show tonight?
On my mobile device.
I know, but are you like on Twitch? Are you on D Live? Are you listening?
I was tuning in on D Live.
You're on D Live. Okay, cool. And you'd called to ask us how we feel about censorship on the internet?
Yes.
Yeah. So what I was starting to say, and I want to get your response to this, so you're welcome to listen in here. But what I was saying was that on the internet, you're on websites that are privately owned, meaning that somebody controls that website, whether it's a company or whether it's an individual, whether it's a blog or social media or whatever. There's always some sort of set of rules that you've agreed to abide by. Most of the time, you don't read them because they're in these lengthy terms of service. Yeah. But ultimately, they do, sometimes try to boil those rules down for you. And if a private company or individual wants to set a specific set of rules, like for instance, it's not just online, but in like real life, you're not supposed to yell while you're in a movie theater, for instance.
Yeah, sure.
So, if there's a set of rules and you agree to those rules by going on that person's private property. That said, I don't think that the government should be censoring anybody, whether it's in real life or on the internet. What do you think?
Well, so someone said on Twitter, obviously, politically directed towards a certain group. That wasn't, hate, real life, affliction. Do you think it's okay to, delete that post just for, a certain belief?
Well, there's a difference between what I think is okay and what I think is, sort of something people have the right to do. Right? Yeah. So, people have the right to govern their property in the way they want to, even if it's completely arbitrary. Even if the owner of that property says, well, I don't think Yonder should be able to be here because he's too young, or I don't think, this person should be able to be here because they're the wrong skin color or whatever. People should be free to make those choices. That doesn't mean I think those choices are okay.
Yeah. Because, I have a YouTube channel and, some comments are not good. So sometimes it's not okay to.
Just to be clear, I want to say I appreciate you not sharing the the actual comments. Yeah. Just remember, we are on broadcast radio, so when in doubt, leave it out.
In general, they're not. So like polite.
No, YouTube
how do you
commenters
feel?
are notoriously nasty.
Yeah. Oh my God. Sorry, there's a lot of fireworks.
That's all right. We're getting fireworks here too. It's okay. Regarding the YouTube commenters, what about them?
Well, they're just like obviously hate directed just for hate.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Was there something you were leading to there?
Well, yeah, just like directed to hate, and the only purpose was like to bring someone's character down.
Yeah. This is one of the difficulties the internet has suffered it for a long time, right? Like, I mean, you take away the human-to-human interaction between people. You put 1,000 miles or even 50 miles or whatever in between people. You put them behind a computer screen, and you get the worst of the worst as far as behavior is concerned.
And you eliminate their opportunity to punch each other in the nose, which tends to keep people more polite.
Sometimes that does happen, like physical confrontations from the internet.
Yeah, and it's a shame when it does, and that's why it's this old concept. It's talking to each other, like we're doing right now. Yonder, thanks for your call.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate that.
Yeah, it was a good call, and censorship is a concern to me.
It was nice that he didn't try to push the envelope on and say things that we would have to censor.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, we have, while we love freedom of speech here, there are rules when you call talk radio.
Yeah. And
rules imposed by the FCC, which also has no constitutional authority.
That's true, but it may also be imposed by the marketplace as well. So even if the FCC destroyed itself tomorrow and blew up and went away, then you may still say, or there may be program directors at talk stations or general managers who say, well, you still can't say F, C and S in these words, because our advertisers don't like it.
Right, and we're going to come up with a trade organization that spells these things out clearly, and we want advertisers to know that if you advertise with one of the stations that signed on to this thing, then your listeners don't have to hear the F word or the S word.
They can certainly do that, but then one would also expect that there would be competing organizations of radio stations that wanted to push the envelope.
Right, like if your advertisers are the tattoo parlor, the strip club, and other places like that, they may not be concerned with somebody saying the F word on the air, in which case you may have like a rock and roll station or something like that just throws it all out there and sees how that affects their business.
And Howard Stern proved that can work.
Yeah.
We're going to stay on the phones where we've got David in New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Did you say Howard Stern?
He did, yeah.
I did. It's always best if you're doing talk radio to bring up other talk radio shows so your listeners who may not be familiar with your competition
can go find them.
Cool. Well, in that case, Howard Stern.
Well, you got to pay to hear his show, though. In fact, that makes me wonder, does he even have advertisers? I don't think he does. I think that's just Sirius XM.
Good question, if that's just in his
I don't listen to his show, so I have no idea.
$500 million contract.
What do they do? Do they take breaks? I mean, or do they play like music or something? What do they do? Is it like a news break?
So long. Robin does the news occasionally, but I don't know. I haven't been a Stern listener in so long.
Yeah, me neither. I did watch his movie, and I thought that was really good. Private Parts.
Yeah.
In the late 90s.
Well, and I lived for an awfully long time in the Washington, D.C. area, so that was morning radio for me, and it was pretty out there.
Anyway, I had a point.
Well, hang on.
David.
We haven't even
I'm
started your point yet. Hang
on. But I'm not going to make you... I'm going to make you sit on hold for a bit so you can think about
it. That's not the hold button.
I've got a vision thing going on, but we'll be back.
There's more coming up here. This is Free Talk Live. 855-450 free is the toll-free number.
Thanks a lot. We'll be right with you, David.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISSparis.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. That's our toll-free number. That's the number you can call to get on the radio like David in New Mexico has done. We're going to get to him in just a second. You can also hit us up on Discord. Discord is a pretty cool app. You can load it on your mobile device. You can load it on your PC, on your Mac, on your Linux box. Doesn't matter. Use your high-speed internet connection and your quality microphone, and you will sound like you are right here in the studio with us, which is pretty cool. In the studio with us, I mean us being myself, Chris.
And I'm Ian.
And nobody.
By the way, I want to let you know about American Financing. This is a company and a website that actually makes it pretty easy to get yourself a mortgage or maybe refinance your existing mortgage. And one of the really, I could go through a laundry list of points about them. They're A+ rating with a Better Business Bureau, not charging upfront fees. They got all kinds of loans, FHA, VA, conventional, ARM, jumbo, USDA. You can do all that stuff with American Financing. But one of the more important points is their consultants or their salespeople are salary based. So they're not getting paid a commission, which means that they're not incentivized to give you a deal that's going to be the best deal for them rather than the best deal for you. So you can get in touch with American Financing by going to AmericanFinancing.net. It's American Financing, NMLS 182334, and their website, AmericanFinancing.net. If you want to learn more about the NMLS, you can go to www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. And their phone number at AmericanFinancing.net is 888-804-0303, 888-804-0303, AmericanFinancing.net.
Thank you, Ian. And we are going to go back to the phones where we've got David waiting patiently. David, you're back on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hey, with respect to what, Ian, what you said about in response to the kid on the phone regarding online speech, censorship, et cetera, I agree with you 100% with one exception, and that is the way I view it is from the inception of social media till today, meaning for all practical purposes, the entirety of the history of social media to this point, we do, and let me also say, that whole time, social media being owned and operated by a basically unregulated private enterprise system, at the point we're at now, and we've always been in the same situation, there are not enough providers that are able to compete in the market in order to assure that the services would be available. For instance, if you got kicked off of Facebook, et cetera, the top 3-4 things you use to communicate online,
right?
You would then essentially be disenfranchised from modern.
Nobody's obligated to assure you of any sort of service being available.
Now,
well, I disagree with a concept, and let me share it with you. And I've shared it before, but I believe that there is some sort of obligation, because let's just say that I'm some sort of super genius, and tomorrow I unleash what I've been working on for the last 50 years, and I find a way to control every piece of food in the United States or around the world. Technology has finally enabled me to implement my plan, and I now have one company.
Okay.
And I've been building investors for 50 years with the plan of taking over all of the food around the world under free enterprise, and we're able to do it, and we pull it off tomorrow. And
that is just such an absurd scenario, bro.
So
do you really think that's a possibility?
Right.
Because the reality is the reason that humans evolved.
Dude, put down the bong. No, it was not a realistic scenario.
Dude, put down the Kool-Aid, because you're trying to talk us into some foolishness that killed 100 million people in the last century.
Well, this is where people have to go, is they have to go to the absurd.
You're not even
to make the point.
You're not even hearing the point. Anyway,
I'm waiting. So, I'm just with bated breath for whatever this point's going to be.
Okay, so then tell me this: what communication services are you using? If you knock out the main ones that everybody knows their names, let's knock them out.
Hold on.
Who the hell are you going to talk to people on?
Can I respond? Can I respond?
Something else?
No, please. Can I respond? I
go ahead.
For a long time, I was on the largest social media platform available. And I am telling you, MySpace used to do some things I didn't like, but I was still on MySpace. I was on the biggest social network platform this world had ever seen. MySpace, I could get in touch with my family, with friends, check out new bands, check out hot babes. Doesn't matter. I could do it all on MySpace. And tell me about what is your MySpace account? Do you have a page?
Wow! You're really missing some information there, aren't you?
Well, no. I think the point is, from my point of view, is I've lived in fear of these monopolies that will exist forever, and they won't. I particularly feel that Facebook.
You're missing something. You're missing something.
Go ahead.
So MySpace went away, huh?
No, it's still there, but it's just not as popular as it once was.
Right.
On a practical level, MySpace went away. Do you use MySpace on a daily basis?
Still?
Some people do.
I don't.
I
don't use any social media on a daily basis anymore.
Yeah, that's.
Can we get a direct Can we get a direct answer from you?
If you're asking me, do I use MySpace on a daily basis? The answer is no.
No. What do you use instead?
Not Facebook. I do more stuff on Twitter than anything else, but I'm just not as addicted to social media as I have been in the past.
I still use Facebook some. I'm waiting for them to kick me off one more time, and then I'm gone.
Okay, so from your answers, the three of you combined, there's only one of you that uses any of the big services, and that's Facebook, and only one of you are using any of the big communication services. Is that correct?
I use Twitter, but there are all sorts of other ways of communicating I use.
I do post on occasion to a few different places. Mastodon, which is a decentralized system, but I don't log in there every day. And the same thing's true of Twitter. Whenever I post, my posts go to Mastodon, Twitter, and Telegram all at once. But I'm not in there reading other people's messages. I'm not on their sites. I mean, I'm probably on, I might go on there like once a week or something like that, just if somebody, like a notice comes through. But back to your original point, David, that, if you get ostracized or banned from these services, what do? Well, you do the same thing people did before these services exist. Get your own damn website and put a blog up or something like that. There's all kinds of ways to get your information out on the internet. You don't have to use some sort of mega corporate platform for that.
So how many people can you reach? If an average person starts from a blog tomorrow, how many people can
How many people can reach anybody if they start a Facebook page tomorrow?
Yeah.
Quite a few.
No, you can't reach anybody unless you connect with people.
Yeah, or you spend a lot of money in advertising. If it happens to be a Facebook page, I can advertise that. I can spend my hard-earned money.
Advertise on Google a website if you want. There's all kinds of ways to get people and drive traffic. Buy some ads on the radio if you want to reach out to people and drive them to your website. Radio's a great ad platform to get people to move to a website.
I'm talking about day-to-day communication. People do not buy a billboard in order to contact their buddy John.
Get an instant message program, dude.
But can I ask David, what is your there is a core point here you're trying to make, and is it that Facebook has grown too big? Facebook has protection within the government. What's the overarching theme here?
The core point is that so go back before these companies existed. You had what you had. I won't waste your airtime describing what you had. Everybody can figure that out themselves.
Yeah, we still have it.
Communication. We still have it, but people don't use it.
Well, whoop-de-doo.
That's the part.
You don't get to control what other people use.
That doesn't mean That doesn't mean these companies have an obligation to provide you with a service, or that these should be some sort of utility.
Why do you drive a car? Why don't you walk?
Because I have to get to where I'm going.
David, thank you so much for the call. I understand he is frustrated with a lot of people out there who feel that Facebook and Twitter have grown too powerful.
Right, they want the government to take them over in some cases, or break them up, or whatever.
But the only power they have is what you have voluntarily given them, and you can choose not to use their services. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
When you have a pain in the neck, a real pain in the neck, back, shoulder, or legs, you now have two convenient choices to get fast relief without taking another pill. Because now, Sunny Bay heating wraps and pillows are available at both Amazon and Walmart. Yes, see Sunny Bay's 4.5 to 5-star customer reviews on Amazon.com or Walmart.com. Our microwavable heat wraps, heatable neck pillows, and extra large body wraps are designed better for perfect support where and when you need it. Even while driving, Sunny Bay wraps will not burn and stay balanced to provide soothing hot or cold therapy to help treat temporary or chronic pain. And the best part, Sunny Bay quality products start at under $20. Join thousands of happy customers and see why Sunny Bay products have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy. It's easy. Click Amazon or Walmart and search today for Sunny Bay.
Complement your health with hemp-derived cannabinoid oil. We've always believed that the closer to Earth, the better it is for our bodies. Our hemp-derived cannabinoid oil is phytocannabinoid-rich, full-spectrum, and organically grown. Finally, hemp made easy, clean, and effective. GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203. That's right, we cut through the red tape. It's now available at GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. This is our final segment, but that doesn't mean you couldn't still call in and get on the air. That's 855-450-3733. That's how you connect with us. We've been talking about Independence Day, or as the bulk of the country refers to it, the 4th.
It's right there in our chat room on D-Live. Somebody's got Happy 4th of July imagery.
Yeah, and my belief is that, number one, people have no inkling of what that means. They believe that...
of what independence means?
Yes, they don't believe. They don't understand what independence means. Independence means that you make decisions for yourself. Or, hey, if you want to live in a small community and you want to elect some people to make decisions for you, be my guest.
That's what some people want.
And that's fine. You can do that at a local level. What you cannot practically do, and we have spent decades proving this, is you cannot effectively do it in a country of 250 million plus people.
You can even hire Miss Spanks-a-Lot to follow you around and tell you what to do and give you a nice spanking if you don't.
You could do that, but what doesn't work for me is having this bloated Leviathan in Washington, D.C., trying to come up with a cookie-cutter plan for every possible ailment that fits the desires and provides life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for 320 million people, represented by about 835 people.
That's the government the founding fathers warned us against.
It is, and
that's why I think even though I don't see the United States, and I guess this is getting back into the beginning, I don't see what's happened here as an altogether bad thing. I think we've preserved our liberty better than the empire from which we broke. Marginally better, but, London, they don't have any guns. They're trying to take the knives. They're putting people in jail for their Facebook posts.
Wow.
So
there's more
things
cameras
are
there.
a lot better than they could be here. But I think we've rested too long on those laurels. We need more advances in the direction of liberty, and I think you're right. In order for that to happen, we've got to have either a return of federalism or a wave of secessions from the federal government.
And let the few remaining pay for it. I would not be opposed to that.
Let them pay for their own wars. We don't want any wars in New Hampshire.
If it works for 50 states, why don't you try it out? Why don't we leave them 10? I'm sure 10 states will be willing to stay. They can do that.
I think it'll be interesting to see, once the first state secedes, maybe it'll be California, maybe it'll be Vermont, Hawaii. These are Texas. These are some of the states that have somewhat noteworthy secession movements. Maybe one will go first, and then the rest will fall like dominoes after that. Or maybe some will stick it out. Who knows?
Right? Well, if we all hang together, it's less likely that we will all hang separately. So it'd probably be a good idea to get secessionists from different states talking about how do we make this work? Because, if California and Texas seceded at the same time, and New Hampshire and Vermont, that would be a difficult war for the federal government to fight.
It would also be difficult to, accomplish that, to have all those four things happen at the same time.
It definitely
It's hard
would.
enough to get, just as an example, it's hard enough to get the state of Massachusetts, the state of Maine, and New Hampshire all to agree to move to the Atlantic time zone.
Yeah, which we are trying to do.
Yeah, it's been a few years and they're still trying.
It's definitely hard to synchronize that kind of thing, but I think the likelihood of what you were saying of a domino effect would be more. It's more likely the more advanced the secession movements are in each individual state.
I would say this. There's nothing wrong with talking with people in these other states, but don't make your secession proposal dependent on them going along with you.
Exactly.
Just basically say, hey, look, New Hampshire, we're seceding. We would like to invite Vermont and these others to also secede. We don't want to secede with Vermont.
Right.
We just want to secede somewhere around the same time frame.
And Vermont, if you have any problem with the Fed stepping in and saying they will establish trade barriers against those people from Vermont, you provide us good products. I'm sure people in New Hampshire, like they do today,
we like their cheese and beer.
We'll trade with you.
We'll trade with you.
And I think Canada will trade with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They'd like to have a new market. Maybe we'll learn to like back bacon and toques.
What is
right?
What's a toque?
A toque
is a you don't remember Bob and Doug McKenzie with their toques?
I think I know.
But the point being is people's ideas of secession needs to change. What it means is that it just means that Washington no longer gets to impose their will on you. And let's talk about the people in Vermont. What do you think about the federal laws against cannabis, which you guys just recently decriminalized? You made it legal?
They did a legalization of possession and I believe home grow, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a home grow state now.
So what about if Washington decides, which they could do at any moment, to go around and start arresting Vermont citizens for growing marijuana, legal under state law? What if Trump decides that there needs to be a wall on your northern border with Canada? What's that going to do for your tourism? You know, there's all sorts of things. It's this idea, and the only way to resolve these things is to respect people's liberty, to respect that they have the right to do as they wish. I would happily respect Vermont's liberty. I don't respect it when Vermont lobbies for some federal program that affects me here in New Hampshire. That's absurd. That's the absurdity of the system we have. That's what we need to get away from.
Yeah, let each state govern itself.
As a start.
Yeah, it'd be a good start.
It would be. It would be the best start. And if you feel that we've been unusually anti-government, this is the real vision of what the founding fathers came up with. Their idea was not like, hey, let's create this place called Washington, D.C. and give it all the power. And this is very clear in the Constitution, the idea was the vast majority of powers remain inside states or with individuals. Yeah. That's the difference. Nowhere in the Constitution is there a long list of things that Washington's allowed to do. It's only through this perverse interpretation of the Constitution by who? The federal government, that says the federal government has all these powers.
Yeah, but what about the military? Don't we need the military to protect us? I mean, if New Hampshire secedes, couldn't Russia or Canada or something just roll right in? I mean, we don't have tanks.
Well, the great object is that every man be armed. And if you have enough armed people in your territory, then the territory itself is not worth the expense of taking it over.
And also
New Hampshire is well armed.
And if states were to secede, there's nothing saying that states couldn't enter into compacts with other states. Personally, I would think New Hampshire would do real well signing a defense compact with New York, Texas, both of which who have large numbers of military installations and lots of firepower that's sitting on the ground.
I don't think we want to sign anything
states.
with New York.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't want
that.
any part of New York. I would probably look to form into a defense pact with Canada.
Oh, better idea. I stand corrected. All I'm saying is that these are all options out there that could be there if you didn't have the threat of Washington saying you can't do this. We're not going to let you leave. Somebody needs to leave. Somebody needs to be first.
Yeah, but then there's also, and blithely I spit that out. Oh, let's go and get into it. But good intentions frequently lead to bad results, and one of the reasons that we had World War II was because a whole bunch of countries in Europe had entered into automatic defense clauses with each other, and as a result of that, when hostilities broke out between two nations, then all of a sudden a bunch of other nations feel obligated not to break up the fight, but to jump into it, which is not the same thing.
Indeed. But the point is these are all things that we have the advantage of seeing how history treated these things, and I'm just saying I want to see states secede so we can do away with Washington, which I believe is the greatest threat we here in America face.
Agreed.
But that's all the time we've got tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in on your 4th of July celebration weekend. I'm calling it Independence Day. Tune in again tomorrow. 855 450 free. This
is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agris Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock is next after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,418. Silver at $15.